Hey guys, Kev here, and I want to do an overview, sort of first impressions of a Midgards messer knife, the Little Viking or Mini Viking. The reason I'm not doing a first impressions or full review is because I unboxed this yesterday, and I already sold it to my good buddy Kyle, D2M Knives and Gear. And now that doesn't really speak poorly about the knife itself. It's more that he has the full-size version. He loves the thing. It's a monstrosity. I did a couple videos with it early on in the channel. And they just make these really obnoxiously large bruiser, chunky knives. And that's what Kyle likes. So when this was out, I pre-ordered it on a whim. And it was, $350 to do that months ahead of time. So Kyle figured I wouldn't like it, and he basically, called dibs on it once I decided I didn't like it, which he was right. So let me show you the knife here, and then we could talk about it, because I just wanted to point that out. It's not really that there's something wrong with the knife, although there are some things I don't like, and I'll get into that. It comes in this really nice faux leather zipper pouch, pretty large size. They must use this for all their knives. It comes with this really cheesy like magazine flyer thing that talks about, they make handmade knives in Germany, even though this is made in China. And the kind of stuff they do, one side's German, one side's English. You can scan the QR code here if you like. But yeah, anyway, that's kind of corny, to be honest. And then here's the knife. So let's take a look at it. Again, this is the Mini Viking, and the full size is freaking huge, man. I mean, it's like that big, and then just imagine it all blown up to proportion. The blade, it's like this tall. It's crazy. Now you can see the clip runs a good portion of the knife, which is nice being left-handed if you're going to try to flick something. You can see how thick this thing is. I mean, it is an absolute tank. Here's my Chavez 229. I showed this in the unboxing. It is 1.5 Chavezes, which is extremely chunky. Here's my bug out. Just for reference, you can see like one scale is a bug out, and then for size comparison, it is not a huge knife. It's the Mini Viking. It's about the same length as a bug out. I bet you the Malibu is probably about perfect, although these are about the same. So there you go. Comparison there. That's kind of the range you're in, but then obviously, it's a chunker, so you have that issue. Blade length, same thing. See here, it has this crazy ass tanto. This design is why I wanted it, I believe it has a 3.3 inch blade, so which is identical to a Malibu. Now you can see the handle's a little longer than the Malibu. If I go tip to tip, it's kind of hard to see, but there you go. So, overall, it's about the size of a Malibu, but, you're talking about a much chunkier, girthier knife, which Kyle likes, So it's perfect for him. And it has this really cool frag pattern. Apparently, I am into frag pattern now. I have another one coming with frag pattern soon. Has this giant billboarding right here, which I don't love very much. It says Midgards family, Midgards messer. Here you'll see the numbering. This is 56 of 200 and their maker's mark, even though they have that giant thing on there. Now, Kyle has number 31 or 13 of the large size, so it's hard to say large size when I'm holding this because this thing is huge. And we asked to get that number. He wanted me to ask the Midgards messer people, and I did, and they said they'd try to, help me out, but they didn't. I think I could tell when I asked that they were just going to blow me off. They didn't feel like having to go through them and keep track of one. And that would have been nice for Kyle to have the set, you know. But there you go. There is no like COA or anything. I think his other models come with the COA of some sort. This just comes with that shitty magazine sheet. But yeah, look at this beast. I mean, it's crazy how ridiculous this is, but I like the design. I think it's badass, you know? And for guys who love big, overbuilt Medfords, like a Praetorian or whatever, I mean, this thing is probably perfect. Look at that blade stock. I mean, absolute chunk. This tip right here is not even sharp, to be honest. Doesn't feel like it anyway. This edge might be, but that tip right there isn't. That tip is. Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to show it off. Now, I'll get to the action here. I think it's still breaking in, but it does basically drop shut. Now, if you want to Spidey flick it, you have to basically wrist it, and you have to get it down low. And this fuller is super smooth. Like, I don't know if you could tell, but, like, there's not much bite to it. So you can't really, like, gear up and flick like you would on, say, here's a knife with a fuller, right? This has some... It's deep enough and it has some edge to it, so you grip it, you can gear up and flick it out, right? See that? And then on this, you just don't have that. It's just, you know, it's just a lip and it's rounded, and then it's stonewashed on the blade, so you have to basically wrist it out. Like, you see that? You have to just give it enough to come out with your finger and then wrist flick it at the same time. It's really hard left-handed. If you're the kind of guy who just is gonna whip it out, you know, the knife that is, I think you'll be fine with this. And if you like knives this size, I think you already know how they kind of operate. You can slow roll it, which I think is probably the best way to open this, is to do that and then close it like this, you know. The detent is actually surprisingly good. You know, you can shake it out. But it's, you know, it's a heavy ass blade. You can see there how it drops. Let me try to flick it one more time. Oh, I feel like I'm going to cut myself. There. Now, right-handed, for some reason, it's a little easier for me. I don't know what that is, if it's just me. You know, I don't know, but it could just be something to do with the lock bar, you know. I think that's exactly what it is. Putting some kind of pressure on the lock bar, maybe the clip goes down on the lock bar. Now, when I first unboxed this clip was flat. It was like this onto the scale, and you'll see there is no lip. I mean, it's like impossible. I was wearing just thin shorts, and like I could not, I mean, look, you can't get anything under it. I was sitting there just trying to shove my short under it pocket, and I couldn't get it in my pocket. So obviously I bent it, right? So now you can get it on a little bit, and then it slides in. Now, it's not the most, you know, it doesn't hold that well in pocket, but I don't know, you know, right here it does. So I don't think it would fly out of your pocket. I wouldn't, you know, go on a zero gravity ride at the carnival or anything with it, but I think it'll hold fine. And I told Kyle, he already paid me for it. I told him, you know, he could just bend it to his heart's content, because you could see here it has a huge cutout, makes it super easy to bend. But I bent it up, and then it was way too far. It would just go right out of your pocket, and then I bent it back down, and I'm just afraid that if you go any further, you're just not going to get it in your pocket. The clip kind of sucks. Luckily, it's not a big tapper. You know, you can hear that, but I don't know why you'd be going around tapping that. And it's not like super obnoxious, like every time you open the knife, you know, you feel it tappy tap tap. It's fine. So I'll leave that up to Kyle however he wants it. Ergonomically, this thing is fantastic, guys. It really is for me, and that's where it's going to come down to that with Kyle. If he can't, you know, if he can't get his hand on it, you know, then he'll probably just sell it, and that'll be it. At least we both got to check it out, right? They only made 200, obviously. I think they may still have a couple for sale on their website. If anybody's interested, I don't think they sold out. There was a couple left. So there is this choil. Now it's tiny, which is interesting. But it works. I mean, I can get up here and now I have good control of the blade, right? I don't know if we should cut something. I'll get some paper. Sorry, I was not prepared for that. I didn't think I'd want to cut with it, but... So you'll see there, I mean, this thing has a great edge on it. Let's see if this is sharp. Is there a way to get that angle? Yeah. It's hard to get the angle on it. There. So it is sharp, but it's not great. Now, I love a Tanto. You guys know I love a Tanto because of how you can... Oops, sorry. Because of how you can get that tip into a package and cut through without having to cut into the, item in the package. You don't have to possibly cut something in your package because you could just drop this tip in and cut. So, and again, the closing is breaking in. You can see the more I flip it, the better it gets. It drops to there, one little shake, and it's all the way down. I think I do left-handed prefer that slow roll. It's a fun knife. It really is. It's just obnoxiously large, And I knew that going in. I just was hoping they changed some things, What would be cool is if they made a slim version of this, because I really like this overall design. I think it's badass. And if they made like a slim version where everything, like a slim midi basically, they took this design and just slimmed it down all the way, I would definitely carry one of those. It's just so cool. And I would also make the fuller a little more aggressive. They could easily do that, and then you could get power behind a flick. Now, of course, it's a heavy blade, so you're always going to have to give it a little help, but I don't know. There's also this kind of jimping right here and a poon spoon sort of deal. And in this grip back here, I get all 4 fingers on. There's a little bit of room. I think Kyle's going to basically live up here if it works, This will work, probably. This will be his only grip. And we'll see if he's okay with that. Or I guess you could have... depending on your hand, I don't know. But yeah, I think it's cool. I think it was definitely worth checking out and everything. I don't know if I mentioned, this is an OEM product from Concept Knives. It's one of the only knives I know of that's OEM'd by Concept. They made the large one as well. They made the Bomber, all the Midgards Messer knives. I haven't heard of any other company using them as far as I can recall, so that's interesting. They did a good job on this. I'm not the biggest Concept fan because they tend to always have issues with, centering versus blade play. Once if you take it apart, it's almost like you shouldn't take it apart because there's no play, by the way. And it's perfectly centered. It's fantastically built. It really is. And design-wise, it's cool. It's just that clip that kind of sucks a little bit. But yeah, with Concept Knives, I found, once you take apart a knife, that's when you have the issues. It's like they get them to go together one time. It's not like Riot where you can, or even where you can just, stack it back in like a burger, tighten everything down, you're good to go. You have to tighten this screw and then that screw and then this screw to try to get everything centered and work. So anyway, just not the biggest fan of Concept, but these knives are an exception. One other thing I need to note is that this is CPM D2. Still kind of bothered by that for the price because this was a $350 knife. It was 281 euros, I think. And then converted, obviously, to dollars. And I would expect M390 for that. Now, Concept, I don't know how much M390 they work with. So even S35, maybe. I'm not a huge fan of D2, just because of the corrosion properties there. But it holds an edge, I guess. And, you know, Midgards, the guy behind Midgards has openly stated he's gotten a lot of his inspiration from Greg Medford. And you could see it, right? And Medford, they used to use a lot of D2, and I think maybe he just thought they still do or something. I don't know. Or he just likes D2. I don't know. But that's what they went with. So, anyway, that's a quick overview of the Midgards Messer Little Viking or Mini Viking. I'm going to send this out to Kyle early this week, and I am not going to complete the full review just because, you know, if I paid what he paid for the knife, I'd want to get it quickly, even though I waited like 4 months for it for him, basically. But you know, I have it, so, you know, I'm gonna obviously send it. I don't want to do a full review because I'm not gonna carry this. It's just a plain fact. You can send me knives to review, and there's always gonna be some that I just won't carry. And I'll do what I'm doing now. I'll do like an overview on it. It's not a full review. It's just my kind of opinion on it from having handled it a little bit and all that good stuff. But I'm not going to waste my time carrying this because it literally would weigh down my shorts. It would be obnoxious to carry for me. I like something a little lighter weight. Doesn't have to be super duper lightweight, just lighter weight than this, thinner than this, just not for me, guys. So anyway, that's a look at that knife. I think it's a really cool piece. I'm definitely gonna keep keeping an eye out for Midgards. The Bomber was a cool knife. I ultimately came around on that one. And again, if they made a slim version of this, I think that would be a freaking winner, dude. Even with this cutout, like not being super flickable, it's still extremely fun to fidget with, even doing the slow roll. I know, I'm getting old. I wish I had my Slim Midi here so I could kind of compare them, but I don't. It's out on loan. So, there you go, guys. I appreciate you watching. I hope you have a fantastic day. I love you all, and I will catch you later.